Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new Table Talk podcast. It's your boys, the Mings, and we are still at home.
Yes, it's been a long time. Yet another week, yet another day, another lifetime, another hey, skibidoo bab lemon tree. Wow, it's been a long time. I think our country is actually doing pretty okay. I think at this time of the recording, we are 2 weeks from when the CMCO was begun, right? So
2 weeks.
Yeah. So technically, we should be seeing some sort of like explosion of cases, if things are not working out.
This week. End of probably end of
Yeah.
this
So
week.
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, we're doing well. But the numbers look pretty okay. Minus the fact that we've not considered like people have been traveling like crazy. People are trying to balik kampong. People are getting stuck in the airports. Why are people flying? How are people flying now?
Why are people flying?
I don't know lah. But that is that. How you guys doing? Is your boys?
Hope you guys are feeling fresh and happy because what else are you doing? I don't know. Today we want to talk about some of the things that people do in their free time, and with the stay-at-home sort of situation that we're all in. What more time are you spending besides? What kind of question? What more time? How are you spending your time besides your work and keeping yourself alive? Right. So we're talking about hobbies and interests in your life, and whether or not things that you did when you were younger still have a place in your life as you grow older. Because a lot of people have hobbies when they're younger, but they end up not pursuing it, or sometimes people think they're a waste of time and it's a waste of money and resources. So I think that's what we want to deep dive in today, just to talk over a bit, because I think Ming and I both have very different sort of hobbies. Have we talked about this before? I feel like we talked about maybe shopping.
Wow,
hobbies?
I think we've talked about how we spend money, but we not really talk about hobbies in general. Yeah, because we did one episode a bit of a while ago on how to save or how to spend money or all that kind of jazz. But it's been a while. It's been a while. I don't know how many episodes are we in. Good Lord. I think we're actually, give me a minute. Wow, we are 61 episodes in. This should be the 62nd episode, and I think the financial one was, I don't know, at least like 40 or something like that. Oh, what about hobbies, Ming? What about hobbies?
But before we continue, we just want to wish all of our Muslim friends and family a Selamat Hari Raya. Hope you guys are safe at home with your families. And if you are going to visit those around you in close proximity, make sure you drive safe and be safe. Wash your hands, wear those masks, and just social distancing if you can.
Man, it is.
Good PSA.
I am a bit worried about my friends traveling back to the kampong. Because
You're not supposed to, Ming Han.
I mean, let's just be honest lah. I know a lot of people are already traveling back to the kampong. Let's just say lah.
Help.
Okay. But I would be equally concerned if this was something that happened during Chinese New Year, because I think everyone gets a bit jumpy and excited around festive season. So if you guys are listening in, please be safe. I know you want to go salam all your relatives and everything. I know you want the green packets. But just remember, I encourage elbow bumping, waving from at least like 5 feet away.
Just nod at your ato. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Wear your mask.
They understand.
Wear your mask and be safe. But I think that's pretty much what's happening right now. Work is kind of like kicking up again. I don't know if some of y'all are already back in the office. But I think most people kind of half are.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're some kind of revolutionary company that said like, you know what, we don't need to ever work from an office ever again. I don't think that's you.
That actually is one of the businesses we just talked to yesterday for our small talk.
Big ideas.
Small talk, big ideas, yeah. Okay, so that's enough about the MCO, because every darn week we're getting updates, and every day you see new things about it. So let's talk about things that we will probably be doing, because like Ming Han said, this is the situation. This is the situation now, and even after the conditional MCO lifts, there is a high chance that there will be a second sort of MCO quarantine lockdown period, and I think for the rest of this year, maybe until a cure is found in the next 8 to 12 months, we are looking at a lifestyle of where you either go to the office a couple of days a week, or you don't go in at all. So even for us at Core Studios and Blank Slate, the Ming Thing Takeaway Table, we have actually made the decision recently to actually pull out of one of the office spaces that we signed a contract on.
Yeah,
so that's some insight for you guys. We were actually going to have another office space to build some sets and have some meetings and spaces like that. But because of the situation, I think it was just a better choice financially and also health safety wise to just not do it. I think just the self
that's
and
such a
the
waste.
health people.
Yeah, we were about to build like a new place for new sets for the show and everything. But hey, I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I don't think we're the only ones affected by it. At least we can say that we had the opportunity, or we had the chance to pivot on that decision. You know,
I think a lot of people are not like, they can't pull back on some mortgages or contracts that people have signed. So we're happy. We're really lucky and blessed. But coming back again to the topic, because the rest of the year. Because the rest of the year, and maybe I don't know what it might be. Is going to see everyone working from home. So we can talk about like work setups and stuff another time. We've briefly touched about it in previous podcasts. I think what's a good break from your work and fighting the diseases out there would be a good conversation to have with each other and with our listeners about what you guys do for fun. Right in between, your meals, your weekends, when every day is starting to look very similar because you're in the same space all the time, and you're not encouraged to go out. I'm looking at all of you monkeys who are going to the cafes on weekends. Please, sort yourself out. We start looking towards things to entertain us, and there's only so much like Netflix shows you can binge watch before you start getting migraines. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting older. When I watch the screen too much, I get a headache. Is that you as well?
I actually, while you were saying that, I thought of something interesting. I'm like, the fact that has your hobbies changed while you were in the MCO? Because a lot of my friends, I mean, a lot of the outdoor friends obviously can't carry out their hobbies anymore. Correct. No brainer about that. What have you had to? I mean, like some people picked up painting. Some people are making like clay bowls in their house. There's no end to how ingenuitive people can be. But has your hobbies changed? I'm going to just put a note. I highly doubt like both our hobbies had much of like a skew off pattern right now. I don't think we're doing anything out of the ordinary that we might not already consider doing. But hit us up, people who are listening in. If you guys like football, futsal, rock climbing, fishing, paragliding,
how's that going for you?
What is the equivalent of what you guys are up to now, man? Like,
so let's just quickly define what a hobby is for everyone who doesn't know what a hobby is. This shame on you. Standard 1, that should be your first kind of like English essay, right? So a hobby is basically anything that you have a particular interest in, that you spend a considerable amount of time on. So whether it's the weekend, whether it's a couple of minutes or hours after work, it's your hobby that you are passionate and interested in. So I don't disregard people who say that sleeping is their hobby, or exercising and working out is your hobby. I mean, I believe that those things are. I mean, I love sleep, but I think maybe a hobby, if we're talking about it really, really like realistically, is something that you really like. There's a vested interest in it. I understand also some of you are like, no, I have a vested interest in sleeping as well. Then okay, shut up. This isn't for you. Okay. I'm talking to people who have like really like collectibles or the skill sets, right? So let's talk about hobbies when we were younger. What were some of your hobbies or things that you did that you were interested in when you were younger, Ming Han?
I think we just like going to the playground. Cycling was a very huge part of life.
We used to have Tamiyas at some point.
I mean, those weren't really hobbies. I mean, if you want to generalize something, I loved random toys. But I don't think toy playing is a hobby. I think toys are just like what kids like to do. So I'm just gonna leave it as that. But I think I don't know. Wow, when it comes to toys and games and hobbies, as a kid, you just want to play outside. I don't think we had the liberty of picking up a hobby because I tried stamp collecting. Man, it was boring for me.
Yes, yes, I remember you had one stamp album.
I had one. I tried sticker collecting. I don't even know how I got into it. I thought it was absolutely redundant.
Sticker
like
collecting.
why? Like looking back at it right now, why would I want to collect stickers? Like, what is the joy of collecting stickers? I cannot
Same thing
understand.
with the stamps, I guess.
But some people can sell stamps, you see. So like if you ever had like a fallback plan or something you want to do your life in the future, like stamps kind of look like, okay, this might be a good idea one day. But I don't know, man. As a kid, I like playing in really random places. I mean, we used to crawl into the drains, the monsoon drains, because when we moved in, everything was really dry. So it was not dangerous at all.
Yeah.
Bicycling was just basically the only kind of fun thing we had because it was an era of like no video games, no internet. We didn't have smartphones. And we were a bunch of kids stuck in a new satellite city that wasn't really developed yet. Our hobbies will probably be when Pokemon cards started. That was like probably the earliest, Pokemon and Digimon. But I don't think I even considered that a hobby lah. I don't think I had a hobby growing up. I think I was just like, I just want to play. Maybe playing was my hobby. I just wanted to play, and that's pretty much it.
That's some great contributions to the conversation.
I had to take it one full round. Like, what was my hobby? I don't know, man.
Okay.
What was your hobby?
I think maybe when people were younger, what they were passionate about or like doing was like, football, right? We had a lot of friends who like to play football, basketball, badminton, ping pong, and some of these sports that they took part in or participated end up becoming their either like they represent their schools and I feel like the whole sports dream dies quite quickly after high school, right? Because where are you gonna go with it, honestly? And it's quite painful.
I didn't even think about sports as a hobby, and I did a lot of sports. Both of us did. Was that a hobby? Did you feel like it was a hobby?
So again, if I go back to the definition of a hobby, something that you're interested in and spend a vested time in. So I would say, maybe that sports was one of our hobbies, because I remember like we did spend a lot of time actually playing floorball and stuff like that. So I would say that you spend money on it. Yeah, definitely is a hobby and interest, If not, you wouldn't pursue it. So I think a lot of people, when they're younger, if you guys can resonate with what Ming Han has said, I mean, some of you might not be able to because you know what you're doing. Video games, stuff like that you collected. Gundam, Tamiya, Lego, so there's so many things and so many areas where people like collected stuff because they really liked it. So even for girls, like whether it was Barbie doll collections or even like, special My Little Pony figurines, it's the same thing for guys as well because they have Ultraman figurines and Mars Rider figurines, stuff like that.
Right.
I feel like now that we're older, a lot of I had this great conversation with my friend in Singapore. We realized that now that we're older, right? Last time you had so much time but no money to buy anything. Now you have the money to buy the games and toys and things that you want to play, but you have no time to do it and you have no energy to do it.
That is
so
true.
That's why I feel like it's a good conversation right now to take stock of the things that you did enjoy doing, and then now whether you still do it, number one, and number two, if you still do it, like do you sometimes feel guilty about it not being productive, or there's no sort of like benefit to it? Because that was another conversation I had with like Raj, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So what's something that you feel that you have brought from your interest from your younger days to where you are today in your 30s?
I think I've never called it a hobby, but I love puzzles. I do like solving I don't like jigsaw puzzles, don't get me wrong, okay? I got no time to sit down and like finish a puzzle. But I do like logic-based games. Or anything that is very there's a mix of like skill and luck, or like there's a mix of these kind of things. Like, I love arcade games and stuff like that. I think that whole video game phase in my life really played a big part in like the things I love to do. Because you're right, I think a lot of people try to turn, there was this phase, right? There were a lot of articles going around like you don't have to turn every single hobby into a hustle.
Oh, yes. Correct.
Right?
Yes.
There was that whole thing, right? So like, oh wow, this is a hobby. I might be good at it. Okay, hustle. Brah! You know, that kind of thing. I've never tried. I mean, I do have a lot of things I do for fun, and I don't want to make money out of it. So that's like maybe a good way to start it for me right now. As a kid, I don't have many chances playing arcade games. I think our parents never let us really go to the arcade that much, right? Because you know it's expensive. But I do have to say, like these days, I do have specific times and stuff. I do enjoy visiting the arcades. So if there could be a hobby that I do have, I love claw machine arcades, and I think this is not a strange thing for anyone to hear because. Man, I go at it, dude. Like, I mean, is there anyone who don't know the fact that I love to play claw machines? I don't know at this point, you know.
Okay.
I gave up on buying music gear a very long time ago because I just could not upkeep anything.
Yep.
But I think if there was something that guided my choices from being a kid and really just wanting to play something, I do enjoy claw machines, arcade games, something that has some kind of reward at the end. Like for example, like the toys that I can get and resell and everything. But even resell, I don't do it for business. So yeah, that is where like the remnants of my hobby days lie, because I can't even pick up my PlayStation controller without Haley running to me and stopping my game session. She pulled out the internet cable once on a game, and I kind of gave up playing after that. So that is where my hobby remnants have gone to, man. What about you? What is the remnants of your hobby days, MingY? Like, is there where the
for
wushu
you,
days?
you're missing out the whole part about how you love games. Like Ming Han, when he plays games, he gets locked in, and it's so hard to pull him out. So that applies for like mobile games, console games, even computer games. He zooms in and he locks in very hard on that one. Besides that, I think Ming Han's passions is like taking pictures. I think you guys have seen that very evidently on his feed as well. He shares a lot about that. He loves coffee. So like all of these things, I don't know how you're like skipping over them.
That's true.
They're passions and interests that you have a vested amount of time that you spend into it, and you get you get knowledge. Like you have knowledge, right? That's
true.
all like areas which I feel like people are. I guess people that maybe you guys don't realize that we have an interest in it, you know, because some people might just not give a shit.
Dude, you just made me realize something. Sorry, before you start, right? I think because, right, we are able to do something that we are passionate about as work. I mean, I know there are aspects of the job that, you know, are like tedious, like client management and planning and everything, right? But essentially, we can write because we like writing, or we can act, we can make fun of stuff, right? I think because of that, because the scope of our hobbies are kind of like in that same range of our work, I've never considered anything work nor hobby. Like what you said about like taking photos or stuff like that, right? I never considered that a hobby because I never considered that work. And maybe more often than not, with people like, you know, you're an accountant or you're a banker, there's this like clear line between what your work is and what a hobby is, because like you can go home and you want to go rock climbing. That could be a hobby because it's so different than work. But I think maybe that's why I had a really tough time trying to figure out what my hobby was, because everything is kind of like in line with the creative industry. But that's just me. All right, hey, take it away. Sorry, brief epiphany moment right there. Real brief. Okay, go. Sorry.
I think for me, it's like stuff like I love reading about gadgets and technology, quality of life things. I think it's everything from like bags, which I consider technology as well, right? Because technology is anything that's innovative, anything that is new, with the idea of enriching a person's life.
Right.
So everything under that umbrella fits for me. Things like, I think I'm interested in fashion. Not all aspects. I think particularly maybe shoes and certain outfit, certain
accessories.
pieces of clothing.
No, you like accessories, bags and pouches.
There is of course, you know, video games. I love my video games. I wish I had more time and energy to play, but unfortunately that's not the case. I don't feel like watching stuff is a hobby of mine. I enjoy watching series and movies, but it's not something that I'm like every night or every weekend I need to watch a movie. I know real movie buffs. I'm not one of them.
Right.
And like even when I watch stuff, I have very specific genre. So
Right.
other than that, maybe it's like photography. I love photography, but I'm compared to Ming Han, like I'm on a different scale. Like I don't like taking portrait pictures of people. I like taking
Right.
like stills or architectural stuff, right?
Right,
And that
right.
also has influenced like the visuals that I look at and how I edit stuff as well.
Right.
I spend a lot of this one is I'm quite real with this. I spend a lot of money on guitar gear and equipment.
Yeah.
So this has been like one of my biggest like investments over the years, right? In my equipment
life.
and all that. In life as well, yeah. But to be honest, I think because I really asked myself, after buying so many pedals and electronics and stuff like that, I asked myself, like, do I really need all this, right? I've started to scale down so much. And from like a board with like a pedal board with like, I don't know, 10 for 12 pedals, I'm only down to like 3-4 pedals now. And
Yeah, man. There was a time where you were bringing around literally like a CPU as a pedal board.
Correct. It's like that thing could power up like a bus, man.
You would go for gigs and make professional, like real deal musicians look at his board and ask him like, how did you get that?
Yeah, and I mean I feel really bad lah, because like I'm not doing this professionally full time.
Right.
I don't even play half as well as these guys, and like yet I'm spending and throwing money at it so much. So like that. So which actually brings me to the next part of this like topic of conversation. It's like the things that we're spending time and effort and money into, right? Do they give you back some sort of return? You said just now, right? The first thing that I think one of the things that you mentioned was like just because you have a interest or a hobby doesn't mean you need to make it a side hustle.
Right.
So for me, I think one of the things I struggled with was that should I be spending so much money on something that doesn't give me returns, right? Like I'm not going to become a sessionist. I'm definitely not going to play any shows anytime soon with this current situation.
Right.
I haven't even been able to play for church for the longest time, right? So I feel almost bad that I'm like, actually, do I need all this? Should I even be spending money on it? Am I like just wasting money? But then I think about it on like other things, right? I think about how people play golf. So if any of you guys have parents or boyfriends, or if you yourself play golf at home, not home, when you guys go out and play golf isn't a cheap sport.
It's not.
Right? It's not like swimming, right? Where you sign up with a club and then you jump into the water.
It's one of the craziest expensive sports that put you in risk of skin cancer.
Correct. And I mean, it's also, okay, to some people, they can say there are returns because you go and meet people in the business world and then you form deals
then
and
you go and
that's great for you. You do that lah. But I think in general, golf is such an expensive sport.
Right.
Because of the equipment you need to buy, because of the fees that you have to pay every round.
Right.
And that compounds into quite an expensive sport in general, right? So to me, I'm asking myself, do these people do they go for golf thinking in mind that they're going to compete and like one day be the next Tiger Wood, right?
Maybe it's always good to think like, oh, I might join the golf competition, right? We freaking picked up Beyblade and we went to join competitions, for crying out loud. But yeah,
that's true.
Beyblade and golf is two different angles.
I think maybe when I think about it in that sense, right, to people who are casual photographers on the weekends and stuff like that,
right?
Then it makes me feel like, actually, you know what? Who am I to say that the things that people spend money and time on are a waste of time, right?
Yeah,
and then I feel that flips back to me as well, because then does that mean I can never do anything for fun anymore?
Exactly.
Because everything I do needs to have like a purpose, needs to have like this grand dream that I needs to realize. Then, because if I'm not reaching it, am I wasting my time and money? That was actually what I was talking to Raj about when we were playing games, right? And I think sometimes with all this, like hustle, like Ming Han calls it hustle porn, right? Where people are like,
you got to make the most out of every single second of the day. Yeah.
Correct. Like when you have to do that, and in your mind, you always just see people telling you need to hustle and make it and make it and make it and make it. Then I feel like the space and the room for hobbies, right, becomes smaller and smaller and lesser than in life, right? What are you doing to enjoy life? So that makes me think, right, am I being a bit too hard on myself for the fact that I'm spending money on guitar gear, but I'm never
Right.
going to be John Mayer.
Right.
Or like it's really just going to be sounds in my room. Because like everything that I have bought until now has
Right.
always been, can I use this in my room and outside when I perform?
Right.
And I know people who only buy guitar gear to use it in their own
Right.
rooms and homes, and maybe just like at most in church, right?
Right. Right.
And that's how they spend their time and money. And even people who buy watches and shoes and stuff like that.
Right. Right.
What are your thoughts on spending money on hobbies and expensive interest?
So the closest feeling that I have to that was the day that I looked at my Dota account and saw the number of hours that I was playing. Don't get me wrong, it was never a thought like, oh, I'm going to enter a competition one day. I love playing video games like that because my friends are playing it. It was a great thing to do. But then the realization that hit me one day was immense lah. Like, okay, that's a lot of hours, Ming Han. What are you going to do about it now? Are you happy about the way this is going? Because you aren't going to get 1,400 hours something. I think 1,100, 1,200 hours or something like that lah. Yeah, you ain't going to get it back, man. That's a whole deal commitment. And I literally, I think I was updating my game that day. I stopped in my tracks and I deleted the game. But I didn't delete it like based off the fact that I was very I was salty about the fact that I probably won't get any like returns out of this, stuff like that. I think my decision to stop a game like that was the amount of time it actually took out of my life versus what good I was actually getting out of it. Not to a fact that did I wanted to go and play like competition and stuff, but I was becoming very angry lah every single game. I left.
True.
I left more games with a bitter heart compared to like feeling like, yeah, I really enjoyed this game session. So there are those lenses that you can view things through. But I think what you're talking about would be, I think it would be more to like what people are saying right now. Does this give you any benefit, right? And more often than not, one thing that I realized when I stopped having all these hobbies were the fact that yes, hobbies actually give you a lot of benefits that are not financial. But if you happen to be a person that is like, okay, whoever terasa lah, I'm sorry. This MCO, right? A big hobby that everyone's picking up right now is cooking and baking and heck knows anything during the F&B line, right? And they're starting to sell their food, be it like nasi lemak packs or coffees or drinks. It is a new skill, right?
Yeah.
But if you're looking at it through the lens and your lens is consistently on, can I make money out of this one day? I think you're going to. I think no one's going to have a lot of hobbies lah. Just to be honest, right? Because realistically, to make money out of a hobby, you gotta need to take it professionally, and we don't have that dedicated time to do it. But hobbies actually alleviate a lot of the stress that you have during your work, during something that you're doing as a profession or your studies. And the main use of a hobby is really to alleviate the stresses and the negativity that you might not be conscious about. So cutting all your hobbies off because they don't bring you financial gain might not be the smartest idea. But you could say you're planning lah, you're planning your life. But I think it'll be a very sad thing if you really love, you really love singing and you can, karaoke and stuff like that. And then one day you just, someone throws you a bad comment and like, you tell yourself, I'm never going to sing in front of stage. I should just stop singing. I don't think you should do that. I think that's why people karaoke. But it will highly depend a lot on the lens on which you view your time. And if you feel like your time is very valuable, I will honestly say the hobbies that you pick are definitely not going to be anything that requires you to be leisurely or kick back and relax. But hey, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay to just kick back and relax because that's what a hobby is supposed to be, right?
I think maybe like as we grow older, right, the temptation to overanalyze and to romanticize the fact that everything needs to be productive or everything needs to have a return. And this is something I feel I'm guilty of like a lot. maybe as we grow older, because time is precious, right? And the
Right.
energy, actually, it's really just time above everything else.
Yeah.
Like the time that you spend on stuff like that becomes precious to you, and because you don't want to waste your time on that or be seen or think that it's wasting your time, then you start
Right.
to belittle the returns that all of these hobbies and interests give to you. Because
Right.
in truth, right, there actually is returns in everything you do. So like for example, like Dota, right? So because Ming Han is an angry gamer, he feels the emotional stress when he plays with a bad team or he loses, right? But
Yeah.
when you play Dota, right, your brain is working, right? And it's strategizing, it's reacting
Right.
to like variables in a game. And honestly,
Right.
I think that's a very good mental stimulation for you. So that's
Right.
like a brain exercise. And I think, and I mean, this is just my guess, but our generation will grow old to be very sharp old people because we have all this mental stimulation so
Right.
much, you know. And even for me, playing guitar, and although no one is going to be hearing that, what I'm playing, right, for that 20 minutes or so when I'm trying a new pedal or a new sound or dialing in a new tone, right, I feel like I'm relaxed or I'm enjoying that sort of sound space that I'm creating for myself. And whether I wrap that up or record that or just, put it away after that, that's a different story. But for that 20 minutes or so when I'm just playing, even if it's the same song over and over again, right, I feel like that moment is just for me to like breathe and relax. And I think maybe it's a good thing to still have hobbies that give you that space that is yours. Whether it's painting, reading a book, whether it's playing ping pong with the wall, or I don't know. Like what other hobbies do you think people?
I think no, just based on the 2 points you talked about, Dota and guitar, right? The real payoff of a hobby is how it emotionally puts you, right? I think that small space in the world where you can be content with your results.
Yeah,
because really that's what a hobby is, right? Because like to me, yeah, Dota is a game that made me angry, but I have no problem playing games like COD, right? I do get angry, but I think the payoff is much higher because I don't have to wait around for a whole hour to waste my life on this one game. Where in like maybe Call of Duty, I find it maybe a bit more rewarding to play 4 to 5 games in the same hour. And actually do something about being a bit free and easy and not worrying so much about like, wow, I can't leave this game because an hour into it my teammate is going to hate me, going to kill my account, so on and so forth. I think it's just that emotion, like finding the specifics of a hobby and adjusting it to what you like lah. Because not many people are going to be able, like you said, not many people are going to play guitar until they reach like an international stage, right? But if it does give you some form of release, like it healthily takes your mind off something, that is a plus. It doesn't have to be financial. And if you really wanted to, I mean, like how anyone would do it, just go and busk lah, to really get some experience out there and see if like, oh, okay, let's see if I can actually do this as a fun financial hobby. But I think the focus of a hobby would really just to be having and letting you have some good me time instead of like the flip side is people who don't have hobbies always need me time, and they don't have like a distinction between where is work and where is play. So like hobbies also can help you categorize a certain amount of time in a day that, okay, I want to do this. So like, let's just say if I'm going to play a game or if Suyan wants to use designing stuff and do something interesting like bake or something, that's her me time, that's her hobby. And I know that, okay, that's your time. I'm gonna let you be. I won't disturb you, so on and so forth. And I think, wow, hobbies have this unspoken rule, right? I don't think people disturb you when you're doing a hobby.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen like
that's
people
true.
like, hey, collecting stamps, stop the shit, come play me.
What
No, who has disturbed
There's
anyone
no
playing?
goal.
Who has disturbed anyone collecting stamps before? I think that's
don't know,
crazy. So I don't know, man. I do think the whole, and coming back to the like hustle hobbies, right? I think the world went through a very unhealthy stage of trying to make everything their hustle, because maybe the message that was spread out there is like, oh, if you're good at it, why are you doing it for free? I don't know if you guys have heard that line before. But it was such a dangerous time because then there was no boundary between something that you need to do to survive and something you need to do to thrive. Like, it's that two ends of the coin, right? To survive, to maintain your bodily functions, sleeping is necessary, But some people
Yeah.
say sleeping is a hobby. I just think no, look, it's a necessity function, right? And that's necessarily my mouth is a function of your body.
Okay.
But to thrive, to grow as a person, to develop your emotional spectrum, to like you said, when you play games, to develop semantic thinking, strategy thinking, when you're baking, to understand like really different things that you wouldn't normally learn, this enriches a different part of your being in a very good way to help you continue on with the stresses of life that you are required to do.
Yeah.
So that small bit of control, like you can control over your life, gives you a lot of freedom, like to be able to dictate, I want to do this, I want to have fun, and in return it fuels you up for the rest of your day. But I think it's, I don't know, I'm not gonna hobby shame anyone who doesn't have a hobby. I mean, yeah, you do you, man. I've been I literally didn't even know what my hobby was for the longest time, but it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, and it doesn't have to bring you money. I mean, that's just my thoughts. Just saying.
Yeah. I think really like stuff like collecting figurines, like whether it's the like Hot Toys, Marvel stuff, DC stuff, or even if it's like putting together and painting your own Gundam figurines.
Right, or even the Happy Meals figurines. Yeah, do
Happy
you, man?
Meals figurines, yeah. Like I always think it's healthy that there is something that you're passionate about. Because if you're not passionate about anything, right, and if you're only passionate about earning money, right, wow, dude, then life is very there's really nothing forward for you. Nothing to look forward to.
You can actually use hobbies as a really great indicator. I mean, we have a friend called Darren, right, the big guy, right? And I mean, Darren, if you're watching, hey, all love, just putting you as an example. But a very good indicator of what hobbies actually help you see about your life was his biggest passion was games. He lives and dies by games. And the day that suddenly that passion fades, it's usually a symptom or something else, right? Like for example, if you know that let me see, like we have a teammate called Matthew, right? One day he really just doesn't want to do coffee anymore. He throws all his coffee stuff away.
Yeah.
That in itself is a really good sign to the people around you that something might be up, or sign to yourself. So don't misunderstand pula. Don't undervalue what hobbies can actually do for your whole being. It is like a great. I mean, it's like a great guard dog lah. You can play fetch with it. It guards the sanity of your mind. But yeah, not everyone needs to buy a dog.
Hobbies guard the sanity of your mind. That's really good. I think Vivian, put that in the post, man. That's good stuff.
Great. But yeah, why don't we were supposed to talk about expensive hobbies. Let's list some of that. I mean, what's the most expensive hobby? I don't know.
Golf, archery, anything that's expensive lah.
What was MingY has a myriad of expensive hobbies.
Yes.
By far.
Yes.
I mean, what is in the ranks of 1, 2, and 3? Let's start with the third one first.
The guitar one definitely is number one.
That's number one lah. I mean, let's not even talk. Don't play games.
Yeah, that was number one. Second one, actually, I would say is collecting keyboards. I have
That's a hobby?
I have 7 mechanical keyboards.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's.
I never knew you enjoyed collecting keyboards. I just thought you just bought keyboards.
No, I collect them because I'm very particular. Like there are certain days I'm a bit crazy. Like there are certain days I want to feel a certain switch or like a certain like accentuating strength on a key. So I'll use that keyboard. So I have a keyboard for like work, play, and then typing, like copywriting and emails. So
how often do you switch your keyboards?
At least
once a week?
No, every day, at least 2 times.
Oh my lord! Okay, that's newsflash for everyone out there. What the heck? Okay,
And then maybe the next one would be, I don't know. The next one is just shoes. I think I spend quite a bit on formal shoes, on sneakers and stuff like that. I do like shoes. What about you? What do you think? I mean, so far, what have you been? I mean, even if it's not a lot, you have spent money on hobbies. What have they been?
I think we have the shoe thing in common, but is it a hobby? I think it's like a memento lah.
Interest, maybe.
Yeah, it's an interest. It's not something that I would say is not a priority hobby lah. It's a nice thing if we go to Korea and then we want to remember that trip, so we buy a pair of shoes. Go to New York, buy a pair of shoes. But we're not like hype beasts and stuff like that. I think by far my most expensive hobby has to be claw machines. Like hands down.
How much roughly lah? How much have you spent on claw machines?
Maybe into the close to 5 digits. Close to 5 digits. Yeah. That is my lifetime since I started playing when I was 18. 18, 17 like that. Okay. So that's a lot. Yeah, but the thing is I also found a way to like kind of make money off of it as well. So it kind of balanced it out already. I kind of broke even already because there was a whole era of my life where I started winning very expensive toys and I managed to sell them off because I couldn't keep them. I just wanted to win them. You know, that was the hobby. I like that achievement, right?
Oh my goodness.
But
the rush from getting the toy.
Yeah, it is. Oh my gosh. It is no joke. It is the same rush as when I mean I just want to say all our Christian followers out there, this is not a supported but for my bachelor night, we all went for fun to a casino. It's that same rush. It is really the same rush because goodness. there is just that you have definitely a set amount of skill in claw machines, but there's such a big factor of like getting it right at the right time. Yeah. The whole thing that's out of your control gives you the rush.
I think we need to do a podcast about the bachelor night, man. Seriously.
Oh my
It's
lord.
quite crazy. So everyone who this is a quick story, just a teaser of what happened, right?
TLDR.
TLDR, we've never been to a casino in our lives, being good Christian boys and everything. Right? Most of our friends, I mean, the friends that we hang out with also have never been. But on Ming Han's bachelor night, I rounded up a couple of boys and I said, you know what, guys? We're gonna ball out. We're gonna go to Genting one night only and go crazy. And 2 cars went up, and when we got there, I realized I didn't even bring my wallet at all. Ming Han laughed at me, and then
because you're the organizer.
Because I'm the organizer, and I didn't bring money and my wallet and ID. And then all of us, when we went in, I kid you not, right? The bouncer or the people outside the casino, the only person they stopped from going into the casino, which I think is ridiculous, was Ming Han. I don't know why they stopped Ming Han.
I'm the one getting married. Oh my gosh!
Everyone else was unmarried there, man. It's a joke, man. Seriously.
But that's just the beginning of the story. Maybe we will save it for another time.
We should definitely. But okay, let's wrap up this week's podcast. I think for everyone who has felt guilty of, has felt guilty of spending too much time or money on your hobby, I think that maybe like me, you need to ask yourself again, does it bring you joy? And I think if it does, it's fine to keep it. As long as it doesn't become an obsessive part of your life where you spend a bit too much time and money on it. Like I know people who spend their life savings on just like K-pop stuff. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, if it makes you happy, I think that's the important part. It should make you happy. But just as long as it doesn't make you not eat for an entire week, or like destroy your health and your relationships around you.
It sounds weird, important. but it happens. I think when
I have a friend who spends like who has never missed a Super Junior concert.
I know some of those people as well.
Yeah, correct.
Those
so
people.
I mean, if that's your hobby and devote your life to them, then go do it. I support you fully as long as it makes you happy. As long as you don't like die because of it. I think that's important.
Right.
Like doing drugs is not a hobby.
That's not. That is. Let's just put it out there. That's crazy.
Want to let people know.
Where was that comparison? Like, where did that even bother in?
I don't know. Like some people maybe think like, it makes me happy, and I spend my money and time on it.
It should. Okay. That's a great point. It should not damage your body in any like detrimental way.
Okay, good.
But that's that. Oh my lord, that was a quick pivot right there. Good lord.
But
that's it.
We would love to hear what you guys spend your time on, what your hobbies are. Oh my goodness. Tell us something that we should try out, because I feel like this hobby thing might be something that we could potentially try out for one of our shows or segments. And then, we would love to hear what you guys think about hobbies and whether it's still something that people should be doing or should not be doing today. But for the rest of us, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. If you want more table talk or content, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Ming, anything else to add?
Nope, I am done and we gotta get back to a full day of work. That is pretty much work right now. So I hope you guys been doing well. Please stay safe. Make sure you clean your phone, clean your keyboards, clean your doorknobs and switches. It is not over yet. Please stay safe, guys, and try not to do anything stupid. Okay, it's not a time to go and like roll around the park. And hug everyone you meet, please.
Guys, I feel so many people have forgotten how to do social distancing, but we'll talk about that next week.
Okay.
Once again, Selamat Hari Raya Idul Fitri. Maaf Zahid and Batin to all our Muslim friends and family, and hope you guys have a great season, even though it's a difficult one.
Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. We'll see you.